I'd now like to formally introduce Chief Jenny Brake, a wonderful partner from the Qalipu First Nation.
Thank you, folks. And am I mic? Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Sean. Ooh, hot mic. Thanks so much. It's really great to be here to address all of you about the importance of our relationship with World Energy GH2 and all of the wind development that's happening in our province. So, Qalipu First Nation, we exist to advance our members. It's the short and sweet version of our mission statement, but that's what we do. Everything we do is the intent of empowering and uplifting the people that we serve. We have a very large First Nation. We're one of the largest in Canada with 25,000 members. Our geographic spread over the province of Newfoundland consists of 67 communities and 9 wards. So we cover a lot of ground. Newfoundland is very, we have some of the highest winds in the world, upwards to over 120 kilometers an hour. So our adjacency to the Atlantic Ocean really gives us the that pickup we need to be the ideal proponents for this project. I've already covered this, so actually I'm going to go back to that. That's my daughter. I'm sure you can guess which one she is. So our environmental commitment to this project. So having a First Nation in a project like this is essential because we are the original stewards of the land. We are really focused on projects that are going to bring us into a greener future and help us protect our environment for the next 7 generations. So having a relationship with a project as big as something like this is very important. We have that traditional knowledge that's needed to help guide a project like this. We can help mitigate concerns for community. We can help mitigate slowdowns in the project progression because we know, the community, we know the lands, and we can help progress things in a way that's really beneficial to the projects instead of holding things up. So having that relationship from the beginning and, taking advantage of our traditional knowledge is very, very important. Qalipu Holdings Limited Partnership. So Qalipu Holdings is an initiative of Qalipu First Nation. We are the stakeholders. So everything that Qalipu Holdings Limited, everything that they do is guided and led by our First Nations. So our members are in control of what we do, and it's led by their concerns, their needs, their wants. Everything that we do is for them. So Qalipu Holdings has a duty to consult with council, and we give social license for the green light to participate in any initiative that they undertake. Qalipu Holdings has a board of directors that's comprised of Indigenous people, members of our community that have knowledge that really help guide these projects and get them done in a good way. So building relationships. This has been a really fun time. Sean, I'm sure you'd agree. We've learned so many things along the way from each other. We have, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Chief Brad Benoit. I'm not sure if he's here, but he's the chief of Nujio'qonik First Nation. I'm looking for him. There he is. Hey, Chief, how's it going? And our traditional chief, Chief Mizel Joe, who's been our guide along the way. Nujio'qonik First Nation and Qalipu First Nation are the 2 Mi'kmaq First Nations that exist on the island of Newfoundland, and we like to work together collaboratively in the best interests of all the people we represent. So it's really important for us to have meaningful relationships, and it takes time to build those relationships because traditionally, Indigenous folks haven't had a lot of say in their lands and their economic growth. So now we're in a point of economic reconciliation where we get to have a say in things and we're meaningful partners throughout the entire process from start to finish. We have opportunities to bring things to the table, not just traditional knowledge, but access to funding and things that really advance projects in a really meaningful way. We have an opportunity to engage our members and give them opportunities for education and capacity building to make them meaningful partners in this as well. So the relationships that we have are very important, and it's all about building up that trust and working together. And I'm proud to say that that's something that World Energy GH2 has done with us in a really big way, and we're proud of that. So, did you want to step back in?
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I stayed. This is our duo.
The partnerships is equally the partnership with Qalipu is equally important to World Energy GH2. As mentioned, the social license to build this project comes from the First Nations on the island, and Qalipu is the 2nd largest First Nation in the country, the largest band in the country of Canada, some over 24,000 strong. And the vast majority of the Qalipu members reside in our project area or very close to it. So it's hugely significant for us. I can't really understate that. The company that we're building is a diverse company. When you look at the partners that are coming on board in the project, I mentioned SK Eco Plant, and you look at the workforce that we have in St. John's and that we're building in Stephenville, and the army of consultants that we have working on this project, it's a diverse group of people, and that's very important for a number of reasons. But it makes us stronger, it makes us more competitive. That's how we're able to drive this project along and keep that position as a first mover and be one of the leading projects in the world. So it's wonderful to have the social license, absolutely imperative. But further to that, it makes us a more competitive organization, a more competitive project, and again, allows us to move more quickly. So that's hugely important. Thank you for that. I'd like to introduce more formally, again, Sheila O'Neill, who's our Indigenous Relations Manager, a member of the Qalipu First Nation, and Chief Michelle Joe, who is a member of the Nujio'qonik First Nation. And as Chief Jenny mentioned, Chief Brad Benoit is here from Nujio'qonik. We work with Nujio'qonik in other areas of our business, and we're very, very proud to have Chief Michelle Joe with us here. So we're going to ask Chief and Sheila to please come and say a few words.
Good afternoon. I'm just checking on my chiefs to make sure they're in place. Part of my role with World Energy GH2 as Indigenous Relations Manager is to definitely be part of the Indigenous team. I'm also, as was mentioned, I'm one of the 24,000 members of Qalipu Mi'kmaq First Nation. So I am particularly honored to be here today and very much aware of the importance of this project from an Indigenous perspective, and also on a personal level because I grew up in the project area. I grew up in Kippens. I went to high school in Stephenville. My mother's family is from St. George's. My father's family is from Port-au-Port. So I have a very strong vested interest in the success of this project, and I deeply recognize the importance and value the work that World Energy GH2, if I can take that hat off and just speak from an Indigenous person, how important it is that we make these connections and these partnerships in a good way.
Thank you all. Thank you all for being here today. It's an incredible milestone for all of us. And I first want to acknowledge my chief, Brad Benoit, who's here with us today as well. And they're working hard to get their own projects on the go, and I fully support that. But the other part of that, when Sean Leet asked me to come on board, I immediately said yes, because I know this is a company that's moving fast, is going forward and leaving a trail for others to follow in their path. And with the work that World Energy GH2 is doing, I know that the companies coming behind, including our own community, will do well by that. So the things that they're doing, the things that they're working on, is leaving the road wide open for people to follow. And so when I say yes, I want to be a part of this, I really, really want to be a part of it, because I know it's going somewhere, and it's going somewhere fast. Not only that, but full support from the provincial government, full support from the federal government, and support from the Indigenous people of Newfoundland. And my community is, we don't have as many as Qalipu First Nation, but our community do have 1,000 people on reserve and 2,200 people off reserve. So with our combination with Qalipu First Nation, we are the largest band in Canada combined. So we have a lot to do. We have a lot of things to do, and we have a long ways to go, but we are moving there fast. And I want to thank you for allowing me this few minutes to have, and thank you. And before I forget, I'll say to all of you, I know it's a day late, but for all the women in the audience, happy Mother's Day. Walio. Thank you.
You're good. So the partnership continues to develop. You know, we're working on definitive agreements that are extremely important since we signed the MOU some time ago. It's a journey for all of us together. We're all learning together as we work on this project. We're learning about the technology. We're learning about how to develop a project like this at scale. I think as an industry, that's why we're all here at this wonderful full conference. But we're also learning about how we need to develop these projects so that the local communities can be proud of it. The First Nations communities will be proud of it. The province and the country will all be proud of it. And we're committed to doing this right and getting it right. We'll make mistakes on the way, but we're going to correct those mistakes. So we're traveling together. Here's a picture of us at the Berlin Energy Transition Dialogue fairly recently. You can see Charles Pender, band manager. I think Charles is here from Qalipu. Charles. And that was quite a special time for us and a special event. This was the day before in Hamburg, where we were participating in some significant discussions between Canada and Germany around establishing a Contracts for Differences program, which is going to help us open up these offtake agreements and bridge the gap between the cost of fossil fuel generated hydrogen and the pure green hydrogen that we're going to produce. What's interesting about this photo is many of you will recognize this is Vice Chancellor Robert Habeck. Chief Jenny is gifting Vice Chancellor Habeck a picture. She's a wonderful artist, and this is one of the works. And Vice Chancellor Habeck is fortunate to have that now. And then you'll see him holding two books. I don't know how visible that is to you, but these two books, they're a series, My Indian and Sulawesi, were written by, co-authored by Sheila and Chief Joe. And they're wonderful stories, and there's a lot of history woven into these stories as well. I highly encourage you to read them if you're interested about Indigenous history from our region. Here we are standing on a bridge near the Bundestag. We have a wonderful person that works with us in Germany. He's actually a member of the Bundestag, Stefan Kaufmann, who took us on a tour of the Bundestag. So there's Stefan there. We got to see German government up close. But this is significant. It's over where the Berlin Wall was previously. And we thought this was an interesting moment to take this photo. And, you know, there's all kinds that you can take from that with respect to conquering barriers and building relationships. Another photo of our team. Stefan is there. He would be the second from the left in this photo with our Chief Commercial Officer, Greg Heath. And you'll recognize the others, Charles Pender, band manager on the far right. And here we are in front of the Chancellor's home. Another good opportunity for a photo together, just to give you an impression of what we're doing and how we're building these relationships and spending the time together. This was an evening that took place in Conn River, and this is the home of the Nujio'qonik First Nation. This was a documentary screening. It's a very powerful documentary. It's available on the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation GEM channel, and it featured Chief Joe and some other members of the Nujio'qonik First Nation, and it's a very powerful, uplifting story and a lot of history there that really helps guide us in how we're advancing our project and building our relationships. A picture of me here with Chief Benoit's Vice Chief, Harvey Drew. And it was a memorable occasion. I'd encourage anybody who's interested to watch that. So before we close here, I think we're going to have some time for questions, but I'd like to invite Chief Jenny back up for a few final words.
Thank you, Sean. I guess, you know, in listening to everything that Sean's saying and reflecting on all the photographs, it's really incredible how far we've come in such a short time. There have been so many milestones for World Energy GH2, but there have been so many for Qalipu First Nation. This is unprecedented for us. This is a very first time we've ever had to do anything like this. Recently, somebody said, how do you mark an occasion like this culturally? And I said, really, I couldn't tell you because we have never done this before. So this has been a lot of first steps for all of us that have been involved in this. And, as Sean has mentioned, we've made mistakes and we've learned things along the way. And I'm always open to making mistakes because you learn so much from them. And I'm really grateful to our holdings team because they've been really crucial in, helping us understand as First Nation the economic side of things, and to our council at home and all of our members, because this, change can be scary for all of us. But as long as we're informed and we're all working in the same way and for the same purpose, I think that good things come from that. So I'm very grateful to both World Energy and our team with Qalipu First Nation for how far we've come, and I look forward to a bright green future for the next 7 generations.
Thank you, Jim. So we have a few minutes for questions. If anyone would like to ask any questions of any of us, please feel free.
We must have done a really good job.
Good job. Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much for your attention.
Yes, Walalio.
Walalio.